Welcome to Tavern Tales. Today's tale, courtesy of Leafy Tea Lemons. Am I the antagonist for walking out of the salon without paying for my appointment and leaving a scathing review? Here's the gist of what you need to know. My wife, 31 female, and I, 33 female, have been going to the same salon for about 5 years. We've done all sorts of hairstyles, but the last few years we've been cutting and styling our hair more simply. Especially now that we have a 1-year-old daughter and another due in a few weeks. A boy, so excited. Our salon changed owners last year, and until now we have never had a problem with them. I decided, since we're so close to having 2 babies in the house, I wanted to cut my hair shorter. I wanted to shave the sides off and have it short like a pixie cut on top, sort of like an undercut, but shorter than I have done before. I booked the appointment 2 weeks ago. Supposed to go last week, but they rescheduled me, which never happened before. I thought that was a little strange, but gave them the benefit of the doubt. My appointment began 15 minutes late. Again, I brushed it off. Stacy, 50s female. My stylist also had a recent beauty school graduate. Marcy, 20s female. Hovering all around, and she basically kept her eyes glued on me, which felt creepy. I tell Stacy what I want done. Marcy looks like a deer in headlights. Stacy steps away and Marcy stood in front of my chair and listed off how long, shiny and healthy my hair appeared and how chopping it up like that would be a total waste, and immediately began listing off her suggestions for what she would do to make me look gorgeous. Stacy did nothing, in fact let Marcy take over. I told Marcy that I was here to get done what I wanted, not what she suggests. Marcy pouted like a confused child, whined how her way was better, and if I couldn't see that, then she wouldn't even be touching my hair today. At this point I stood up and told her that nobody would, and if they can't give me what I asked for, then I will take my business elsewhere. When I stormed out, the receptionist called for me to pay, which I ignored. When I returned, my wife and I talked about what happened and how they treated me. She told me to write a review, saying I am probably not the only one with an experience like this since the salon changed hands. I wrote why I went there, what they did, and why I walked out without paying. This happened Saturday. On Monday, I received a call from the new owner, demanding that I take it down, and scolding me for leaving without paying. When I hung up, I edited the review to include that the new owner harassed me over the phone, and I would never spend another penny there again. My sister was here this morning to visit us, and she said that she gets why I was so mad. But she thought that the review was a little much, especially since the workers know she's my sister. She probably can't go there again without getting bothered by them in a similar or even worse manner. I think if they had the gall to treat a customer the way they treated me, they're lucky all I did was leave a bad review. But even last night I was having doubts about how I handled the situation. So for how it went, am I the antagonist? Here's a short update. I figure this is probably the best spot for this. My wife, being her very brilliant self, decided to call the salon herself to see if she could schedule an appointment. After taking her name, the receptionist asked her to hold for a minute, and when the line picked up again, it was the new owner. She immediately informed my wife that I was banned permanently, and so was she. Neither of us were ever welcome back, and if we even stepped in front of the shop again, we would be sued. The Karen then hung up on us, and we busted our guts laughing, and my wife immediately turned her voice higher like the new owner and whined out, "You can't fire me, I quit." A few minutes ago, my sister texted me that the new owner left her a similar voicemail and banned her too. Sister is bringing her kids over for dinner soon, and we're going to laugh at the voicemail together. I guess that's that. Wow, what a way to end a 5-year business relationship with your customers. Voicing suggestions is fine, but being persistent after you said no is not okay. Good going there, hair salon. You burned all your bridges, including potential ones, or that stunt. As for a traveler, you're not the antagonist. You did absolutely nothing wrong. Removing your review would be undermining the purpose of reviews. They are meant to show the good as well as the bad. What do you guys think? Here's a tale with a more uplifting resolution. Courtesy of Aita report that. Am I the antagonist for not rewarding my eldest daughter's good grades? I have 2 daughters, Lena, 13, and Zoe, 17. For their schooling, I've always encouraged them to try, rather than them caring about grades. I've always found work ethic, resilience, and responsibility to be more important than smarts alone. So I would say that's what I always focused on. School is properly back this year, so my wife and I decided to reward them if they did well. I would say the expectations were clear and about them behaving well rather than grades. Since people didn't understand, the reward was contingent on good behavior. Doing well referred to their effort. See my next sentence explaining my expectations were about behaving. I never changed the basis of reward. The girls' semester report came out yesterday. While the main focus is academics, each subject also grades and comments on behavior in class. Lena got mostly C's, but she struggles with school, so that's an achievement for her. Her teachers all graded her behavior as perfect, and mentioned how she was clearly trying in everything. Zoe, to put it very crudely, basically had all but one of her teachers saying she's extremely smart, almost straight A's, but a complete antagonist and a problem in class. So in my opinion, Lena should be rewarded, but not Zoe. Still, that night we took them both out and celebrated finishing the semester. We did say we were proud of them and everything, but today I talked to Zoe about what her teacher said. She said it's not her fault her teachers suck and are boring. Which may be true, but she still can't be rude or distract others. Zoe really wasn't happy about the discussion and got upset when I told her she wouldn't be rewarded. She basically thought her grades should mean it's fine and that I'm punishing her when it's not her fault. I decided to leave the discussion for later when she was calmer, but made it clear that while I'm disappointed in her acting up, I do still love her and am proud of her doing well score-wise. By this evening, it seemed to have calmed, but Zoe overheard Lena talking to my wife about deciding on her reward and got angry again. She said it's unfair that Lena is getting rewarded for bad grades, but she gets nothing for A's. I tried to take her aside and talk to her, explaining that it wasn't about the grade, but she didn't take it well and claims that we love Lena more and are favoring her. That it's unfair that she has such lower standards to meet, but that's not the case. My wife feels bad and changed her mind and thinks that maybe we should reward her with something since she did so well academically, and it was a struggle to adjust given everything. But I don't think we should reward her for misbehaving. Even if she scores well, if she acts up, it can harm other students. I know that happened back when I was in school. I haven't changed my mind and don't think it's wrong. But my wife clearly thinks that it's an antagonist move. That's a clever reward system the father established. I think effort should indeed be rewarded, but so should achievements. Both the daughters, in my opinion, deserve to be rewarded. Now let's move on to the update. First, I want to thank everyone who gave advice and criticism. I struggled to understand it at first and did not expect the level of ritual and personal attacks. While a minority, I unfortunately got bothered by all the attacks and especially the few who insulted Lena. I slept on it and realized a lot of the rest was good advice and that I made a mistake in how I handled Zoe. The next day, I got Zoe to join me on my walk and we talked. I apologized for not realizing how unfair it was. I did reassure her I loved her and it wasn't favorites. While I was never A's, I did coast to school and it came to bite me hard later in life. And I was worried about it happening to Zoe. But it still wasn't fair even if I didn't mean it that way. From what Zoe said, it was a bit like most were saying that she's bored. She basically said she learns better from the textbooks than most of her teachers. She did admit that she can be rude to them, but said it's because they clearly don't like her. For the favoritism, she just basically said I'm always helping Lena and proud of her, but never herself. I tried to explain that I am proud of her, and the helping is because literally every time I try, she just says it's fine and says she doesn't need help. I think it all went well, and she understands that I love her, even if I screwed up. Hopefully, she can use her words a bit more, but I'll definitely try to be more persistent in the future. I plan to talk to her school as soon as possible, although I don't know when they'll respond, given it's holidays. For the reward, they're both getting one. Zoe still hasn't decided what, but she has next week to figure it out. As an aside, I think our system may be different. From what I understand, depending on the subject, it's difficult for teachers to simply teach her more advanced stuff, because she simply won't get anything out of it in terms of marks. I'll definitely try to work it out with the school, but it's unfortunately too late to really transfer her to another. Selective schools won't accept, and the private ones here aren't exactly good enough to justify uprooting during year 11. Anyways, to apologize to Zoe, I had a day out just me and her, where we did whatever she wanted. It was a great day, I really enjoyed it, and I think she did. She even told me she loves me, and she's not the type to say that kind of thing much. Even if some don't believe it, I really do love her. Being a parent is hard, especially when it comes to disciplining your children. The dad's decision of not wanting to reward Zoe comes from a good place, and I'm sure he internally struggled to withhold giving her a treat. I'm also glad that the dad is sensible and really listened to how Zoe felt. He realized the problem resided in the school curriculum rather than Zoe. And lastly, the way he made up to Zoe was very sweet. Something every parent should do for their child. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know. And that's a wrap for tonight. Be sure to visit us next time. And if you want to, leave a like and subscribe.